nothing more enticing than the beach. The waves crashing at my feet and lots of yummy food to sink my teeth into. Join me as I cross sand and surf in search of the best beach food with a view to match. This is paradise. I'll be digging into some delicious dishes and meeting some awesome local chefs, because that's living the beach bite life.
Clapping.
Oh, yes, yes,
clapping.
please.
It is my dream to make them do that for the entirety of an
It
interview.
is my dream to have them do it the entirety.
You just don't have to say a word. You sit there and I just keep going like this. And I keep clapping.
Pretend like I'm on the Crown or something.
Katie, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about Beach Bites.
Well, Beach Bites is basically the best job on the planet. I get to travel around to beaches and eat. It's I can't quite believe that I got this gig. You know, I went in and pitched the show at Cooking Channel, kind of timidly, saying, "What if we did a show where I went to the beach and I ate?" And when they said yes, I was like, "Really?"
You went into a room with people with money and you said, "Give me money to go eat at beaches."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, sure."
Basically, I can't believe my
Powers
luck.
of persuasion.
I just pinched myself.
Did you hypnotize them as you were saying it? Was that what happened?
Yes, I dangled a chocolate bar and it worked.
So what beaches did you guys land on?
So this season, I focused on all the beaches here in the U.S. I got to try a lot of great regional cuisine. I went to South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Hawaii, California, and I even went to Arizona, to a lake. You know, I figured you don't have to be on the coast to have a beach experience. So I went to
lake life.
Lake Havasu and did the beach there as well.
Now, I have to ask you, I'm a vain person, and so when I go to the beach, I love to eat, and I but then I usually feel bad because then I'm sitting on a beach and I look bloated and disgusting.
I get it.
How do you go about looking? You look great in that video clip. You're also eating a hoagie.
It's so hard. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I can eat whatever I want and stay in shape. I have to work
Anybody
really
who
hard
says
at
that
it.
is totally lying.
Oh, they're all full of it. No, I have to work really, really hard. I exercise about 90 minutes a day. And when I was on the road doing the show, I would get up at 5 or 5:30 and do it before I went out to film, because I know if I wait till the end of the day, it's never happening.
Now, what is your diet like off camera? Do you sort of save the big snacks and the comfort food essentially for when you're on camera and then eat relatively light off?
You know, I'm pretty balanced. I might have a day where I completely indulge. You know, I love
Best
I
days.
love carbs. I'm no carb left behind. And it's like, give me the pasta and the pizza and all that. And then, you know, I try to figure it out. So like if I know I'm gonna have a big dinner for lunch, I also love vegetables. I'll make a giant salad. I always feel like, remember the Seinfeld with Elaine when she's like, I just want a big salad. I just want a big salad. You know, I love a big salad with everything in it. So I just balance it out. Breakfast is usually Greek yogurt and fruit and some granola, and then, you know, see what happens. And
See where the day takes you?
yeah, and lots of exercise.
But it's like it's lots of exercise, and if you find yourself eating a crazy amount of carbs one day, you just make sure you balance it out the next. Don't fall into a pit of carb despair like I do.
I don't think carbs are bad for you.
I don't either.
I don't at all. I think that, you know, they give us energy, and I have no problem with it. You will not see me on a no-carb diet.
Never.
No, sometimes I cut out sugar. So, like this weekend, I have a photo shoot where I have to be in a bathing suit. So this week, I'm eating no sugar. So that's how I kind of work it out.
What do you usually eat that has sugar in it?
I love candy and ice cream. I eat a lot of ice cream. Oh, a soft serve frozen yogurt. Oh, yeah.
I eat ice cream in the middle of the night. I wake up in the middle of the night.
Oh, are you one of
and I,
those people?
Yeah, and I walk around the house and I grab ice cream for some reason and I eat that.
Yeah, there's people who get up and eat at night that don't know that they did it. Which
No, I know. I know what's up.
Can you imagine? I'd be so sad if I didn't remember. You know, I at least want to enjoy all of it.
First time, there's something about the cold ice cream in my mouth in the middle of the night that I'm like, oh, that's so great.
I've
Going
never
back to bed.
tried that.
Don't-
Roll
you don't
over and have
have
a
to.
little ice cream.
I don't know that many people who love it. It's a weird thing that I do.
I'd be into that. I'm into ice cream any time of day.
So what has been your favorite place, your favorite beach that you've bitten at?
Oh gosh, you know, everywhere has their own thing that I like so much. You know, Alabama had these beautiful white sand beaches, and I got a lot of good Southern food there. Have you ever had Alabama barbecue? it has a white sauce, which is unique to anywhere else. You know, everywhere has their own spin on barbecue. So this place, it was called Hog Wild Barbecue. They made this Alabama white sauce that was delicious. It's mayonnaise based. Then in South Carolina, I went to a place called Bowen's Island where they do these huge fried seafood platters. That's actually on the premiere episode tomorrow night. And then, let's see, Florida had some great Cuban-inspired food. Hawaii was just its own thing entirely. I had never spent time there, and I fell in love with Hawaii. If I could figure out how I would live in Maui.
That's like the next show.
Can we make a Beach Bites Hawaii?
It's like living in Hawaii and eating. Will you guys pay me to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
So would you say the what you were most surprised by was the barbecue in Alabama? Because of the white sauce?
Yeah, that was surprising. And, you know, Hawaii, I didn't really know what to expect, but I did one of the traditional pork roasts. It's called Kalua pig, where you dig a pit and you put the pig in it and it cooks for 12 hours. And then, you know, we shred it up and we did we did a taro bun, kind of like a southern pulled pork barbecue, except it was Hawaiian. So those were some unique flavors. They use this kiave wood that is from Hawaii, and it gives us this really unique smoky flavor. That was really good. And eating pineapple there was like having it for the very first time. It was incredible.
What do you cook when you're at home?
When I'm home and it's just me, a lot of times I make pasta. I love just a little simple
carbs.
I do. I love carbs. And I make salmon quite a bit when I'm by myself. I'll do just a little piece of salmon and some salad. You know, that's like my simple night dinner. And then there's nights where I make a giant bowl of popcorn and I sit in front of the TV and eat a big bowl of popcorn.
Do you have any kind of special butters that you put on the popcorn or anything?
Just butter. Butter and real salty, you know. And then, you know, I also have my little shortcuts that I'm not always proud of. Like this weekend, I went and bought a skirt steak and I just used a bottled marinade, and you know what? It was delicious. You know,
you're on your own. You don't need to impress anybody.
It's fine to take a shortcut every now and then.
Can I give you a popcorn tip?
Oh, please.
Honey sriracha butter.
Okay, now how do you do that? You melt that in the butter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you melt it in the butter with the sriracha, and then you pour it over. It's
salty,
pretty incredible.
Sweet, spicy, crunchy. That hits all the right notes.
It's pretty incredible, except sometimes the honey takes over a little too much and it gets really sticky.
Are your fingers real sticky?
Yeah, your fingers get sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, sticky fingers are not the best thing.
Be near the sink to wash your hands.
Or just be like me.
Don't wear anything nice if you're gonna do that.
I'll probably wear my work clothes. Just not even thinking twice about it.
My mom used to say when I come home from school, she could tell what I had for lunch because she'd just look at my shirt. It hasn't really changed since then.
When did food become a huge part of your life? Like, at what point were you like, I want to dedicate myself to food? I love cooking. I love eating.
You know, my whole life, I'm from one of those families that at dinner, we were talking about what we were going to make for the next night. And we just love food. And my grandma is a great cook. My grandpa had a great garden. You know, it was all about food in our family. But I thought you had to be a chef if you wanted to work in the food industry. And I didn't want to be a chef in a restaurant. I worked in restaurants, and I just didn't want that to be my life.
It's a bit of a nightmare.
It's really hard work, very physical.
Grueling and very, you don't make nearly as much money as you deserve for it being that grueling.
Long hours, the heat of the kitchen. So I went to school to be a journalist, and it was getting towards the end of my 4 years, and I started thinking, I wonder if I could write about food, because that was around the time when food was becoming more pop culture. And so I wanted to be a food writer, and I moved to Long Island, and I did little pieces here and there in Hampton's Magazine. I started working in a fish shop, and little by little, things progressed, and here I am.
Was Long Island where you met your ex-husband, Billy Joel?
Yes. Well, we met not on Long Island, but I moved there for him.
Oh, okay. So that's when you moved to Long Island.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, you follow a guy. That's how, you know, you end up somewhere. When people say, how'd you end up in New York? It's like, love.
And you're still in New York now when you're not shooting beach bites?
Yeah,
and going
well,
all
I'm
over
mostly on Long Island. I'm a Long Island girl. I love being out at the beach. I'm from a small town, and I like small town living.
Now, you go to the beaches in America, in Alabama and Arizona, and I'm wondering what the ingredients are like, because when I go to beaches in Europe, for instance, say you go to beaches in Italy, the ingredients are all incredibly fresh. They're made from farms literally right in that area, and they're all just organic without, trying to show off that they're organic. It's just incredible fruits and vegetables. Is it the same way when you go to these beaches across the country in America? Because one of the things that people talk about in America is that we have this problem with sort of not focusing on locally grown foods.
I think it depends on where you are, and being close to the water, obviously that lends itself to having access to all of this fresh seafood. So, for instance, when you're in South Carolina and Alabama and the Gulf Coast of Florida, you can get fresh shrimp. Most parts of the country, the shrimp that you pick up at the fish market, that's frozen and usually from a farm. It's farm raised, and then they thaw it out and sell it to you. You're actually better off to buy the frozen and thaw it yourself, so that that way then when it was thawed out. That sitting at the fish market could be like 2 or 3 days. Gotcha. So in those places, you have access to shrimp that actually came right out of the ocean that day, and you can eat it, and it tastes so different. It's so sweet. If you go to Key West, you can get that pink shrimp. Oh, it's so good. It makes a world of difference.
And even tomatoes. Fresh, like locally grown tomatoes are. God. I didn't like tomatoes growing up. And then someone was like, no, eat this tomato. And it's the most amazing thing.
Completely. And, living out, I live out in the Hamptons. Our produce there is so phenomenal. I think people hear Hamptons and you think like glitzy glam or whatever, and there is that side of it, but it's all about the farms. We have some of the best farms in the country out there, and it's one of the few places that you actually can eat farm to table. That's such an overused expression, but there you can actually do it. So, there's chicken farmers, there's obviously fresh seafood, access to all this produce, vineyards. There's even people making sea salt from the water. There's always something new of someone using our land, to make some great food.
Absolutely. Let's get some questions here from the audience. Who has a question?
Hey, Katie. Hi. So summer's around the corner, and I'm just wondering, if there's any go-to destinations that that you haven't gone to.
Go-to destinations for summer. Where are you thinking? Do you want to stay in the U.S.? Do you want to go internationally? What do you think?
Maybe internationally.
Well, internationally, my favorite's the Amalfi Coast. I love that in Italy. To me, that's like my favorite. And it's also a place where you don't have to stay in a crazy expensive place. Stay in a little tiny inn and meet a family that's running the place. I have my secret spot there that I like.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And, just experience the food. If you want to stay local around here, I love Newport, Rhode Island. It's great. It's only about a 3.5 hour drive from New York, or you can take a train and then transfer to a bus to get there. But great food, all that New England clam chowder and lobster rolls and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Next question.
Hi. I was just wondering, have you had any foods that you've heard of but you really want to try?
Oh, foods that I've heard of that I really want to try. I'm not into anything weird. Like, you'll never see me eating a bug or anything like that. I
missing out.
Oh, I really think I'm missing out on grasshopper. I tend to look on Instagram and scroll through people's pictures, and that's how I get ideas of where I want to go eat. I really want to try the burger at Emmy Squared. Over in Brooklyn. I've been there for pizza, and the pizza is sick.
Pizza is so good.
Oh, it's so good. If you go, make sure you get anything that has pepperoni on it. They're like little pepperoni cups, and the oil puddles up in them. It's so good.
Have you been to Ops yet in Bushwick?
No,
it's another pizza place I haven't been yet, but the people who recommended Emmy Squared, my chef friends have been like, Ops is the best restaurant in Brooklyn right now.
Okay, because I go to Bushwick for Roberta's pizza. I love Roberta's.
This is the new competitor. Roberta's been blown out for a while.
It's been a long
Ops
time.
Is the new spot.
Ops, like OPS.
I believe so.
Okay.
I just blew up.
You heard
Ops,
it here first. Yeah. Now we won't be able to get in.
Sorry, Ops.
Anybody else?
Next question.
Hi.
I was wondering what the transition was like from being a writer to being on camera, and what's your favorite part about each?
That's a good question. It's obviously really different, and I think the only way that you get better at being on camera is to be on camera and get comfortable with it. I was really nervous at first, and I got the best piece of advice actually from a yoga teacher. And I was really nervous I was on Oprah, and I was like terrified. Before I left, I went and took a yoga class, and I told her that I was nervous. And she said, you know what? Being nervous is actually being really selfish, because you're making the whole thing about yourself when really it's about everybody else having a good time who's watching. And I thought, that's really a good way of putting it. So now whenever I get that little voice inside of me that gets scared to do something, whether it's talking in front of a group of people, or, if I want to do something, or like this morning I did the Today Show. That show makes me nervous because it's live. I just think, you know what? It's not all about you. It's about everybody else having fun and enjoying it and learning how to make the fried fish or whatever it is that I'm making.
The Today Show makes, I think, everybody nervous, though, with the exception of the host, because you wait for an hour for 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in the green room waiting, just going over whatever's going to happen, going over it in your head, and then all of a sudden they rip you out onto the cameras start moving, they sit you down, and like, go, so tell us about your show. And you're like, oh my God, where am I? How did I get here?
But it is fun, and I do like the energy and the rush of live television. There's
We're doing it here
that.
too, but we don't have the rush.
Live, right?
Just the energy, no
There's
rush.
other people watching besides just us?
I hope so.
I do too.
Katie, thanks so much for being here. Beach Bites
Thank
premieres
you.
tomorrow night, right?
Yes,
What time?
June 1st, 10 p.m. on Cooking Channel. Please watch so I can continue
Going to the beach and eating
to
good
the
food.
beach and eat.
Katie Lee, everybody. Thanks so much, Katie.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.